First, had a little brain fart there for a second. I'm guided to pop in here to talk about what's happening. The title is The Crescendo of the Harmonic Convergence. As some of you may have heard me say in other videos, that Sammie has been saying for a few months now that the harmonic convergence is actually a 40-year period from 1987, if some of you have heard of that, to 2027. So we're in that window of the last couple of years of the harmonic convergence. Um, and this is why others that you may have seen, like astrologers, they talk about 2027 and beyond as things really changing. So we're at the we're coming up to the crescendo, though, of the harmonic convergence, which Sammie has been saying is um, this winter solstice of December 21st, roughly. So the intensity is not going to let up, in a sense. And I know a lot of parents are having some extreme behaviors from their autists, and people are really feeling agitated. We have a lot of solar flares. There's successions of them coming in very, very rapidly, daily, three-eye atlas, and interstellar object, comets traveling through the inner solar system. So I'm sure that there's no accident that all of this is happening at the simultaneously, because the physical reality, our physical body, the earth physical body, is going through rapid changes, um, and it's all part of this closing of this harmonic convergence. So if we think about a crescendo in music, it means that, right, there's the music is playing, the notes are playing, and then there's a sharp increase where it gets increasingly louder, uh, and then there's a peak, and then a decline of that. Depending on the piece of music, it could be more like this, afterwards. So that follows afterwards. So um, if you think of an orchestra that comes together and a crescendo in the orchestra, excuse me, I've been really stuffed up lately, but a crescendo in an orchestra piece of music is, there could be a section of instruments playing and then other sections of instruments playing, and they kind of come together, and then there's a crescendo of more and more of the instruments are coming in to play together, and there's a sharp increase, and then it gets really loud, and then if you think about the percussionists that pop in and go wham, and there's a real high point in at the crescendo, and then things start to decline after that. So we're like in this crescendo period where we're having this really sharp increase of harmonics, because we are based on sound, and the universe, our solar system, the earth, is now harmonizing back with the universe, and we really haven't been. And so this is what enabled us to experience more of the extreme 3D polarity. But as the crescendo is happening now, it's just getting louder and louder and louder and louder, until that point at the winter solstice. So um, I'm just it's just to tell you all that this is going to continue. I know you hope that it's going to let up, but you might be able to hear Sammie. She is feeling it. There's a moment of calm, and then an hour later, or you turn around and uh, now she's all agitated again. So this is affecting a lot of people, whether they know it or not. People are agitated. The autists have, um, quote, less ability in this realm to regulate themselves, so to speak. But people are going to express it in different ways. So they might express it in by self-injurious behaviors or injurious behaviors. Others will be, short-tempered, not thinking as clearly, feeling a lot of headaches in their head, tension in their necks, and the brainstem, because their neurology is getting a workout as well. So uh, people are displaying it in different ways, and our autists display it by um, their behaviors. They have less, I don't know if the right word is, but they don't have the same kind of filters that we have to um, manage those behaviors, and they're designed to be just more energetically sensitive. Their sensory system, there, which is really neurological, is much more sensitive. So um, there's timelines collapsing. There's a lot of new kinds of sound waves coming in that are unfamiliar to us, that we haven't known, and that can cause us to feel kind of afraid, uh, because you're not sure what's happening. And in that fear, in that unfamiliarity, then there are other people on the outside who can generate more fear, let's say, and put out fearful kinds of narratives, um, and that's not helpful. Um, and as these timelines collapse, that means structures are collapsing, structures in the unmanifested realms that maintains our reality. And if those structures have been based on those pre-manifestation templates, and structures have been based on extreme polarity, and that is not falling apart, but it's trying to come back into harmony with the tri-wave or the Trinity. So then those people will have something to be fearful for in that sense, because their reality that they have been really clinging to is collapsing for them. So simultaneously, then, what we're embodying soul, um, that connection to source, the creator, the one, the all that is, and that's where we develop our inner core stability, is embodying that as the spirit from the realms of eternity, I'll just say, is really now accessible to us. Then we are more and more embodying that. And it's definitely a process. Um, it's something, you use your breath. Breath work is good, and some people have more of that kind of knowledge than I do. And also, when that purity of that spirit comes through, then it wants to clear out uh, distortions. It wants to heal us, heal within, all the things that we've been holding on to, pain and suffering, all those kinds of things. And so then it stirs up a lot of, uh, um, um, I don't know, I got something, I don't know what it is. I'm just getting some weird pop up here. No, it's not anybody. But it's, so there's old things, wounds and things that are coming up, ancestral kinds of things. And if you've been clearing that for a while, you know that it seems to continue as we go deeper and deeper, and as the planet is purging, and also she's a soul. The planet has a soul, and so holding on to these ancestral memories from deep within, then all of that is going to come up as well. So I'm just getting notices here. Um, so all that's going to come up as well from the planet, and that's going to stir up our deeper ancestry, because it's also genetic. So there's a lot of this happening at the same time, and um, if we think of that crescendo, because we're always looking for when is it gonna, when are we gonna feel relieved? When is it gonna get easier again? Well, if you look at that crescendo, right, it's that high point, and then it starts to level off, um, and decrease. And now how that's going to happen, we don't know. But so I'm just saying that even after the solstice, it's going to take a while for it to start to kind of, the energy to kind of come back to a place, a more steady place. But right now, as I'm doing that, I'm seeing like it's kind of through 2026. It's not going to be this smooth curve, but kind of this jagged uh, platforms that kind of goes like this, and then maybe spikes up again here and there. And also then individually, it's going to be different for individuals. Depending on where you are in your quote awakening, let's say, or how much you've processed, and then planetary wise, because again, this is timelines that we're talking about. So there's individual timelines based on our soul past, and also soul trajectory. Uh, so the timeline collapse, I'm getting a feeling a question. The timeline collapse means that and the convergence on an individual level is all the past soul expressions that you may have had, um, and it could be on the earth, but it could also be galactic and cosmic. So all of that is coming together, and um, to become aligned, and then we integrate those lessons, because we're not here to repeat the same pattern again. And the way we don't repeat the same pattern is by integrating what we've learned, and so this is what we have brought with us. And um, the autist kids, they're doing it as well, um, and connecting to their physical body, um, and transforming. But in the meantime, their mission is to reconnect us to those higher dimensions, because we really only been aware of the first to seventh dimensions, and some maybe more in pockets, but unless the full spectrum of the dimensions are working, functioning the way they should, then there's inserts, holographic inserts and things that kept us blocked actually from fully accessing the fullness. So the first, the seventh chakras means first to seventh dimension up to the crown, and they're reconnecting us um, to be the 12 dimensional avatar human. Now I talk about more dimensions, but the physical form of um, of a 12 dimensional human. So timelines are also dimensional. Timelines are also frequencies, um, and this is how we weave the dimensional frequencies in through our bodies, and then it's also DNA. It's also connected to the DNA because the physical expression, the physical body, also aligns to all of that. So uh, I know I talk in a way that's a different way of thinking, and it's taken me a few years to kind of process it that way, but it becomes more of an inner understanding, and then obviously living with Sammie and her intensity and the information that I get from her and the journey that we've had so far, and from other groups that I've been in for my own personal growth and understanding and activations as well. But I just wanted to um, pop in about that. Now, the other thing, piece that I feel guided to just mention, because I can't remember exactly where I heard about it, where I saw it, and it comes up here and there about these 3 days of darkness, that everything's going to go dark, and there's going to be 3 days of darkness, and then we'll know that we're in a new dawn, so to speak. So uh, the 3 days of darkness, what my understanding of that is, it has to do with the solstice window, and this I saw in other like videos, where people talked about it, other places, that think from things that I've watched or read, and I don't have exact links for that, but and I re- just searched on ChatGPT to get me clear again on what that means. So they people have learned about this 3 days of darkness, because it's not a literal darkness. It's in the solstice window, and there are archaeologists and other esoteric knowledge keepers, let's say, when they studied these ancient structures, and they're like in what I just saw was like they're in Ireland, they're in other places in Europe, Stonehenge, I think, and it has to do with they created these massive structures, and they would create these little, sort of like a peephole, with like a peephole, and position it to how the sun was coming through, uh, and they can see like a shadow on the ground, uh, and so on the winter solstice at noon, at the sun's highest point, um, it's they what they saw in ancient times was that it seemed like the sun was standing still, because it would just be dark, like either within the structure, or the way the light was coming through, and on the ground, the way they saw it, I can't remember. and some of them, they had different ways from what I remember and how they saw it. So uh, where it seems like, okay, it's not, the sun doesn't seem to be moving because the shadow or whatever they see that's cast on the ground or in the chamber that's dark, um, uh, it would uh, it would seem like it wasn't, the sun wasn't moving, um, until again, like on Christmas Day on the 25th. And there's a lot of um, hypotheses about why then they chose December 25th as the date of the birth of Christ, of Jesus, around that, because bringing the light back into the earth, back to the earth. So the sun it would start moving again. So again, the crescendo, and then and then like the dawn of a new uh, epoch, in a sense. So uh, then everything has to start to align to this. All the timelines has to align. So even though it's going like this, though, where there's this decline, we're going to start aligning to our own individual soul path, and people are already feeling it. Um, and I know I've seen other people uh, just in comments and things in social media here and there. And I, I don't go in very often just to manage my time. But where they're suddenly closing a business, or a relationship is suddenly ending, they're moving somewhere else that they didn't think that they would be going to, and it's as if they just go bloop. Okay, this is what I need to do, and without a whole lot of thought, they're just doing it, because we're aligning to the new, uh, because the new has to be birthed through us, and from within us. And so this is part of the embodiment process, embodying the soul, um, and in that connection to our source, our creator, we're getting the instructions of what we're supposed to do next. And as you all know, people that are watching, the instructions aren't anything mental. You're not going to get like a tablet, like Moses. Here it is. This is what you're supposed to do. It comes as inner knowing, uh, which is another reason why then we purge and clear, um, so that this relationship with spirit can really be enhanced, embodied. The kinesthetic knowledge um, comes alive, right? Uh, the autists, they're very sensory and kinesthetically aware, even if their minds appears doesn't work the way ours does, and they're not. It's not supposed to, for a very specific reason. Um, but they are reconnecting us to the seven higher heavens. My sister-in-law is a pastor, and she said, like even biblically, it only talks about the three heavens, but there are seven higher heavens, and actually we're connecting to the nine central heavens. So we're even going beyond the seven, but connecting to the seven higher heavens is going to be a big step, up leveling for us. So, and this is what the autists are showing me, that as parents, um, we need to somehow change the way we work with our kids. And again, I don't know what that means individually for some people. I don't know what that looks like because they have a mission, but then individually we're all kind of designed differently. And the autists, they have a different um, body, and they have different skill sets, different realms that they work in. And I mean, some areas, yeah, they converge, are a collective, just like we are. So there's a lot um, happening that's challenging, um, but it's been an amazing journey for me to kind of witness, in a sense, what has been happening over the last 8 years with Sammie. You don't understand when you're going through it what all of that is about. Um, I feel much more centered to handle her outbursts, and it's hard. It's not easy. When you're going on a drive and she's uh, you know going, just you know hitting herself and screaming, and you're trying to drive. Just focus on driving. Um, and I have my own ways of trying to see what's happening and trying to deal with it and stuff, but it doesn't always level out quickly or easily. Sometimes the outbursts are because of me, and the activations that I'm getting, and so it's they feel the energy, the intensity of the energy from our bodies, or what we may be having trouble integrating ourselves or other family members. Um, so it's not easy trying to um, figure out what exactly is the problem, the problem, so to speak, um, or they're being activated, or it's just intensity from the solar flares and what's happening in the earth. Because again, the earth is going through changes. The earth's matter, antimatter, the word that's coming is coefficient. I can't remember exactly what that means. And how that means, basically it means how the matter and antimatter of the earth are relating, have been relating to each other, and how that's changing. And then particle to antiparticle, and how that um, is changing. And so it's causing a lot of wobbles. Sometimes you feel like the heat coming up from your feet, and it's you know you feel like you're burning. Other times it's like cold energy that's coming up. So it's happening at so many different levels. Like, we were just on a drive. That's usually what we do for entertainment for the last 8 years or so. Um, and Sammie was fine for a bit, and then all of a sudden, I could, I was seeing from my inner eyes inside my body, and like the muscles, the tissue, the skin, everything was just. It was like if you would imagine like an ember and burning. That's what my muscles and my fascia system and things looked like. It was burning, like I was like burning. Uh, and so then, of course, you know, like a minute later, there goes Sam. Yep, okay, she's, you know, hitting herself. It wasn't horrible. It was more like agitated sounds, thank goodness. But um, all these things are happening at the same time. So it's tough. But I felt guided to pop in to give everyone an FYI that not to expect it to uh, let up soon. We had an 11:11. We have 12:12 coming up, and you think, okay, well maybe now after the 12:12, it's kind of go, ooh, things will kind of cool off a bit, but now it's gonna that Crescendo is going to be uh, um, um, uh, anyway, so just an FYI about that. So there was a question that popped in. It came in on Sam. You got something to tell me or to show me? Okay, I know. I'll wrap it up. But do you have something to transmit? You want to go in the hot tub? No. Let me finish up. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, there was a question that came in from my Facebook Messenger, but I can't. I don't know if I can switch over because I'm on my phone and I only have Messenger on my phone. So if it's a question that you want to ask now, um, and post it, then that would be okay. Yeah. Okay, but I think I gotta go. Sammie's pulling on me. So hope that's helpful. Jenny says hello. Okay. I know. Let me wrap it up. Okay. 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 All right. Now we can wrap it up. All right. Okay, everybody. Well, that's it. So thank you. I have to remember how to end this and then share it. Okay. Raquel says, Sammie, I hope you enjoy your swim. Thank you, everybody.